Shelton High School had difficulty putting points on the board last year and struggling to an overall 4-6 record. The Gales will look to Captain R.J. Rondini to direct a rejuvenated offensive attack. The running game is in the hands of Mark Zubkowski and talented sophomore Bobby Ayer, while R.J.'s favorite passing target should be wide receiver Alan Keklick and tight end Glenn Blanchette. Optimism abounds at Seymour this fall. The Cats return quarterback Pete Del Toro, running backs Billy Brooks and Dave Dewey, and standout receiver Sonny Szynski. Add in a big and mobile offensive line, and there's good reason to believe Seymour can improve upon last year's 6-4 record. From the Barber Field in Seymour in the season opener for Cable 10 Sports, it's Shelton against Seymour in an Intra-Valley and Housatonic League matchup on Valley Cablevision's High School Football Game of the Week. Hello again, everyone. Ed Clemens with Buddy Chernovitz from the Barber Field in Seymour. Buddy, the Gales use Dan Field as their quarterback in all of their scrimmages, but yet coming into this football game against Seymour, they go with the senior, R.J. Rondini, at quarterback.
Eddie, they really didn't have consistency in their offense in the 5 scrimmages that they played. They're going to R.J. because they feel he can give them that, and it's going to be a key move. It's something to watch early in the football game.
Now, I commented to Paul Sponheimer during the week about his team's offensive varied sets and the fact that they really open it up. And Paul Sponheimer said to me, Ed, you haven't seen anything yet. They're going to be really open against Shelton.
They've got a veteran quarterback back with Peter Del Toro. Bobby Kello certainly has an outstanding knack for creating offense, and I think you're going to see an awful lot of that this year with the Seymour Wildcats.
Now, you've seen both teams. You know about their programs. What do you see as the key to today's game?
Well, I think consistency in offense for Shelton. They've got to keep the ball out of Seymour's hands. I think Seymour has definitely an edge with some of their skilled people who are back. I think home field advantage is going to be important. I see Seymour with maybe a touchdown to 10 points here as they open the season. I don't know whether Shelton is really ready offensively.
And we'll be back with the opening kickoff right after these messages. Welcome back, everyone. And the Seymour Wildcats will receive the opening kickoff here at partially sunny DeBarber Field, and welcome to another season of high school football on Cable 10 Sports High School Football Game of the Week. Buddy Chernovitz, both teams would like to get in on a winning note to their season, because this promises to be a wide open Housatonic League race in the year 1990.
I think, Eddie, this is going to be the most balanced that the league has been in a number of years, and I think when you go out to watch a team play, it's going to be very close scoring games, and it will come down to the last quarter of football because everyone has that balance, and the teams that get off to the best start, I think, are going to be in good shape when you get down to the 8th and 9th games in the schedule.
Once again, as we mentioned in pregame, when Shelton gets the football, it'll be the senior R.J. Rondini at quarterback. Back deep in your picture, you got a glimpse of David Dewey, one of the deep men for the Seymour Wildcats. Back there along with Sonny Szynski. R.J. Rondini is going to be set to kick it off for the 90 football season. We're underway for this decade. David Dewey with the football. A flag is dropped as Dewey is hammered at the 20-yard line by Bill Podegatitis.
Flag on the play also, Eddie, so we'll see what it was. Probably some type of clip as you see the referee Kevin Woods there signaling that it's against Seymour. That's going to move him back somewhere near the 10-yard line. If they mark that from the spot foul, probably around the 11, and Seymour will be backed up to the goal line as they start.
And while we have a moment, let's take a look at the Seymour offense. Of course, in that backfield, they've got the veteran quarterback Pete Del Toro, and along with him in the backfield, Billy Brooks and Dave Dewey. Among the wide receiver core, they have Sonny Szynski, one of the top receivers in the state, and on that defense, we'll get a look at that defense when Seymour goes on defense. We'll take a look at the Shelton defense after this play from scrimmage. 1st and 10 for the Seymour Wildcats. We're underway. First play from scrimmage at their 12-yard line. That is Gorlewski in motion. And the straight handoff, a give to Dewey, and he is stood up by the center of that Shelton line. Middle three on defense, Bobby Panagiotis along with D'Agostine. Let's take a look at that Shelton defense.
Eddie, that front five for Shelton is going to be challenged all day. We just saw Panagiotis get in there. They wide splits, if you notice, across the front for Seymour, and they're playing without any tight ends, so they're split out pretty wide across the front. Look at that split there between the guard and the center.
So a loss on the first play from scrimmage for the Cats. A 2nd and 12 coming up. Football just outside the 10 as we've got another flag dropped early on in this football game. Sunny DeBarber Field. Cable 10 Sports, our Valley High School football game of the week. And again, this will go against the Wildcats.
Procedure penalty against Seymour. Someone was not set long enough, the motion man, as he came back across the formation. 2 costly penalties as Seymour's backed up now about the 6-yard line here in their first possession of the 1990 season.
2nd down and 17.
But he mentioned before the fact that the Cats do not have that tight end. There's that spread formation for the Wildcats. In a slot to the left part of your picture, that is Goulet. Goes in motion towards the center of the line, and Del Toro back to throw. And is it a completion or not?
Going to need an instant replay on that one.
Szynski bumped into the official there, just shy of the 20-yard line.
I think he's in bounds. We'll see it, but he's going to hit the official now on the out move. He just turns to the outside. Here's the catch. And his foot may not be in bounds. He was airborne as he hit the official, and that may be a plus for Seymour on that, as the official collided with that receiver. Our first selectman from Seymour here watching the game, along with a number of other fans here on a beautiful sunny day.
3rd and 6 for the Wildcats early on in this game. The game's first possession to the Wildcats. Del Toro intercepted. That's R.J. Rondini. Rondini 10 into the end zone, and the Gales have scored. R.J. Rondini.
Ball was thrown high, Eddie. It was tipped by the receiver into the hands of R.J. Rondini on just a little seam pattern, and Rondini took the ball untouched into the end zone, and Shelton jumps on top. Del Toro just draws back. There's a little seam route here, and it'll tip off the receiver's hands right into R.J., and he will just take off for the goal line.
That was Goulet, the intended receiver. Keith Goulet, 6 foot, 164-pound junior receiver, and there's R.J. scampering into the end zone.
Costly penalties back Seymour up. They had a big 2nd down play, but on 3rd and 6 were unable to convert, and their turnover cost them early here in this first quarter.
R.J. will attempt to tack it on, the extra point, and he does. And the Gales, in exciting fashion, have gone up on top of this football game on the defense. Gales lead it 7-0. Buddy Chernovitz caught up with head football coach Tony Branca of the Shelton Gales before the football game, and he asked the coach about his team's progress to date.
Well, as each scrimmage we improved, obviously. That's what you try to achieve in the preseason. We had a very good week of practice, and I'm looking at a different team this morning. We had our ups and downs this week, and we had better offensive days and defensive days than we'd had in previous weeks, but today it seems like when I looked around the locker room, I saw a different face on each kid today, so I'm looking for something really, really good to happen today.
You know, buddy, one of the keys the Shelton coaching staff felt was important for them in this football game was that they score and try to get up on Seymour. They thought, Coach Branca in particular, thought it's very important that this team scores. This team did not have much success at all in moving the football, much less scoring in preseason.
Well, it may give them some confidence in being able to open their offense up a little bit when they finally do go on offense. But right now, their best weapon has been that defense, putting them ahead here 7-0.
R.J., the kickoff, Sonny Szynski, middle of the field. Szynski with a seam, a loose football. I believe one of the Cats has fallen on the football at the 35-yard line.
That ball just fell out of Sonny Szynski's hands. He was not hit. He just lost it. Luckily, Seymour covered it right at the 35-yard line. Szynski takes the kickoff, and he'll come up the field and then break right here behind his blocking, and then he will just drop the football. It just comes out right there. It was grabbed from behind. Covered at the 35. Seymour is now on offense again, their second time in this first quarter.
Well, the Cats have much better field position on their second possession. That is Goulet in motion, the give inside. That is Brooks, and he doesn't want to go down. A shirt tackle by one of the Gales. Dan Chavs on the initial hit for the Gales.
Chavs reached out and grabbed him, held him up, and then the rest of that Shelton front put Billy Brooks to the ground as he picked up about 3 yards.
We have official timeout.
And with an official's timeout on the field, 9:42 remaining here in the first quarter. But he also caught up with Seymour Wildcat coach Paul Sponheimer, and he asked Paul Sponheimer about his team's preseason and the level of readiness for the season. And here's what Coach Sponheimer had to say.
Off our preseason, buddy, I feel we're ready for this game. I feel by coming back to school after Labor Day, it has been very beneficial to us. I feel we probably have more people ready to play a first game knowledge-wise than we usually do. You know, our offense is complex. Sometimes we have to cram a lot in prior to the preseason game. I think we had the luxury of getting it in at a pace where the ball players understood it a lot more than in the past.
Welcome back, everyone. R.J. Rondini, an injured Shelton player, and the Gales cannot afford to lose a young man like him. Off on the sidelines. Peter Del Toro winds up, throws the home run pass. It is up for grabs. It is picked off, or is it a reception? It's picked off by the Gales. Rob Darby on the interception.
Darby did an excellent job. Del Toro tried to go to the same pass that was intercepted. It was covered, and he just went for the home run down the sidelines. See him look right here to the flare back right there. Again, unable to get it off and just goes for the home run. Darby does a great job on coverage. He's there, plays off the receiver Szynski and makes the interception. Shelton again with another turnover. Start on their own 35-yard line. Rondini will not start at quarterback, Edward.
Well, of course, it's going to fall to the junior, Dan Field. Field, the pitch out. That is Sapkowski. He has tripped up out of the tailback spot. And knifing in to make the tackle was Keith Goulet from the secondary. Let's take a quick look now at that Shelton offense.
Be interesting to see. Rondini was supposed to get the start. Field played the entire preseason, so he has a number of scrimmages, 5 under his belt. We'll see how he does here early in this first quarter.
Well, the Gales lost 1 yard on that first play from scrimmage. 2nd and 11. Field, a straight handoff to the sophomore Bobby Ayer off the left side, and Ayer gets close to the 40-yard line. And let's take a look now at that Seymour defense.
Brooks leading a host of Wildcat tacklers. Third down and 6.
Third down and 6 will be coming up for the Gales. 2 turnovers so far for the Wildcats. And R.J. Rondini ran back the first turnover for a touchdown on an interception return. And Darby's just picked off another Peter Del Toro pass. Mark Sapkowski off the left side, buddy, for a pair.
Seymour came that time with a blitz. They sent all of their linebackers on that third and about 6 yards. Brings up a punting situation for the Gales, the first punting situation of the football game, as you see the special teams unit coming in for Seymour. Not a bad first effort, as Shelton chose to be very conservative, but they did move the football. Again, with the new quarterback, they're going to have to feel their way as they try and establish a consistency on that offensive front.
Gales will be punting the football away. Fetty will be doing the punting. Brian Fetty, and Szynski is deep for the Wildcats. Accepts the ball at the 30-yard line. He's going to be brought down at about the 34. A few of the Gales on the play, led by Bobby Ayer. With our score, Shelton 7, Seymour nothing. Let's take this timeout. Welcome back, everyone. Well, the Wildcats, their third possession of the afternoon. And both times possessions have led to turnovers. Shelton has capitalized on the first one. That is Brooks, the fullback. Lou D'Agostino on the tackle for the Gales.
Seymour's running what they call a little bit of a veer option type read inside, where the quarterback is trying to read the tackle, make a decision as to whether Brooks gets the football. If not, he's going to pull, and later you'll see him continue with the option. The hole was there. Brooks picked up about 5 yards on that first down. Excellent job. Great hitting along the line of scrimmage so far early in this football game by both defensive fronts.
Line of scrimmage is the 38, 2nd and 5 for the Wildcats. Goulet in motion, Del Toro to Dewey. David Dewey with some daylight for the first down and close to midfield.
Tackle made by Fetty.
Dewey is going to come right over the tackle guard hole where Billy Brooks just went. They've got an excellent hole. Brooks kicks out right at the hole, and Dewey does a great job picking his way for the first down right about the 49-yard line.
Brian Fetty along with Subkaski finally in on the stop for the Gales, but not before the Wildcats have picked up a first down. David Dewey to the outside and inside the Gale 40-yard line before he is taken out of bounds by Billy Dean.
This time they come to the left, and they're just kicking out and blocking down with the inside. Tackle down, fullback kicks out at the hole. Watch Billy Brooks here kick right out on 34. Subkaski, it opens up a great big hole. Dewey comes through and gets excellent yardage for another first down right about the 38. Good job by Billy Brooks on the block right at the point of attack as Seymour coming with that blast. Left and right, good yardage.
First down for the Wildcats as they settle down offensively. Goulet in motion. Dewey again with an opening. 30, 25, 20. In the clear at the 10-yard line. A loose football at the goal line, and it will be the Gales football at the 1-foot line.
Great
Check
job.
that, the Wildcats football at the 1 as it rolled out of bounds.
Great job blocking all the way down the field. You'll see 81 here. Szynski stay on his block and allow Dewey to break back and get to the goal line. Excellent job by Brooks right there. Missed tackle. Szynski stay on his block and allow him to break behind. And then the ball is going to be pulled out and will go out of bounds. Last touch by Seymour, possession by Seymour, and they'll get it right at the 1. Great run.
That was Rob Johnson who brought down Dewey at the 1. Ball squirted out of bounds, and it is the Cats' ball. First and goal at the 1-foot line. Goulet in motion. The give, touchdown, Cats off the left side, the fullback Brooks.
Great drive by Seymour as they took that ball and just marched it down the field. A blast play with Brooks and Dewey doing an excellent job and have come to within 1 point of tying this football game at 5:39 of the first quarter. Brooks just lowers his head and just drives over the 3-hole over that right guard into the end zone for that touchdown. Excellent drive that time.
Anderson to attempt the conversion.
El Toro is the holder, and Kip Anderson is the extra point kicker for the Wildcats.
Fire move here. See if they can put 2 in.
Del Toro
Got 45 out there. Good job.
throws it out there, incomplete. Intended for, on the scramble off the extra point, intended for Mark Primavera. So the Gales hold on to a 7-6 lead, and we have had a lot of action thus far in our first game of the season, buddy.
Sizes up to be a great season and a great football game. Coach Sponheimer there talking to the center, trying to get that snap back. They had problems in getting the ball placed on the tee, unable to run the scrambler fire movement to get that 2 points. But Seymour had an excellent drive as they marched right down the field on Shelton, using the fullback and their tailback, get excellent yardage as Coach Branca right there is going to gather that defense together and try and come up with some way to counteract the fullback and that dive from the tailback as they move the ball very well consistently in that march.
Well, I see Rondini's back there to deep to accept the kickoff from the Wildcats. Rondini along with Keklik deep for the Gales as Kip Anderson will tee it up at the 40-yard line. There in your picture, Mr. Toby Moffitt and one of his youngsters.
Toby's a Syracuse graduate. I know him a little bit, and we ran into each other last week in Saratoga, and he's getting ready for his congressional run in the 5th District. Close friends with a colleague of mine, Peter Evans, and they're plotting that strategy for the run in the 5th.
And Anderson will have to tee it up again as the ball goes off the tee. We have been blessed with fantastic weather on our first telecast of the football season on Cable 10 Sports. Just an ideal day for high school football. Actually, the calendar says it's still late summer. Until another week do we have the fall season roll in, but it's more like a fall day now. That is Bobby Ayer dropping the football and apparently recovering, and the Gales will take over at their 30-yard line.
Ayers covers Anderson's kick.
Ball comes down here and through the hands of the intended receiver, and he just falls right on it. Bobby Ayer, before the fumble, tries to get back up, and once his knee touches the ground, the ball is dead, and they'll start right on the 30-yard line.
Well, let's look and see who they have at quarterback. It is Field again, the quarterback. Dan Field, who went all the way in all the preseason scrimmages for the Gales, gives it to Sepkaski, and Sepkaski is really going to go nowhere. Maybe a yard on the play off the right side, stacked up by the Wildcats.
Shelton is attempting to run the same type of blast series that the Seymour Wildcats have done, but the Gales are not getting the same blocking along the line of scrimmage as Seymour did, as Sepkaski was met and stopped for about a yard gain.
2nd and 9 for the Gales. First quarter action from here at DeBarber Field in Seymour. Fullback is Ayer, the tailback is Sepkaski. Quarterback is Field. Sepkaski this time off the left side for a pair, that's about it. Centered at Seymour line, led by Julio DeVillis on the tackle.
Seymour's getting excellent penetration on that front and not allowing any room for Sepkaski to sneak in, as they doing a great job just closing off the gaps, and linebackers filling very well.
So it'll be a 3rd and 7 coming up for the Gales. They lead by 1, 7-6. They have scored on the defense. 2 wide receivers. Field back to throw. Backside pressure. Gets it off. Incompleted pass short of the mark. Intended for Aldo.
Aldo let the ball hit the ground. Had it in his hands. It just slips through. Field has good protection as he steps back and throws the out pattern. Aldo, you'll see here, go down, and then the ball will just slip through his hands right there, and he does not have possession. Excellent call by the officials. Brings up a 4th down situation.
And it's our first opportunity to tell the fellas in the truck, great picture.
They don't miss. They're usually right on top of it, and they certainly help us out a great deal up here, because God knows we sometimes need it.
Gales will punt it away. That is R.J. who's punting the football. And it rolls out of bounds at about the 40-yard line of the Wildcats. So Seymour will have excellent field position. 4 minutes exactly left to go here in the first quarter. Now sun-drenched DeBarber Field.
Rondini looks like he's going to stay on defense. He's got that left ankle heavily taped. We'll see about his mobility and whether he's able to play quarterback, but he is going to play this series on defense.
Football is marked at the 41-yard line. And to the top part of your picture, that is Torres along with Szynski, twins out there. And to the bottom of your picture, that is Goulet. And that is Dewey with the football for a pair to the 43.
Shelton is going to have to close that play down, or they're going to have a long afternoon on defense. They're getting excellent yardage with Brooks kicking out at the hole and Dewey just following him. You'll see again here, Billy Brooks just kicking right out. He'll take the outside guy, just takes him to the outside, and Dewey follows him. An excellent line surge by that front of Seymour as they're able to pick up another 2 yards.
It is 2nd and 8 for the Cats. 43-yard line, their own. Dewey again. Midfield. 45, dragged down at the 40 by a couple of the Gales, led by R.J. Rondini in the secondary.
Seymour backs are excellent north-south people. They just get the football and go to the goal line. Again, Dewey will follow Brooks, Brooks finds no one really to block. Dewey just makes a cutback right at the center and just runs it down the field for another first down at the 40-yard line.
That was Alan Keklik, as you saw in the replay, the initial hit on Dewey. And, Buddy, the Cats are on the roll.
The tackles are coming from that secondary, and that's not good if you're a Shelton fan. Keklik, Rondini, Darby are making all the hits, and they've got to get those linebackers and that defensive front involved because Seymour is just churning out that offensive yardage. That ground game is in excellent shape right here with 3:05 left to go in this first quarter.
Gives me an opportunity to mention from tackle to tackle for the Cats. The tackles are Julio DeVillis and Jeff Carina. The guards are Larkin and Anderson. And at center, one of the tri-captains, Rich Connors, opening up the holes inside for the Cats. On the option, Del Toro. Dewey, 30-yard line. And finally taken out of bounds by Rob Johnson, the sophomore from the secondary. Another first down for the Wildcats.
Del Toro does an outstanding job running the option. He gives you a clinic coming down the line. He will read, gets around the corner, and right here he will make his option pitch, allowing Dewey to the sidelines down to the 20. An excellent, excellent job running that option. The Cincinnati triple, as they call it, and Del Toro ran it well.
First down, Dewey picking his way inside the 20 to the 15. It takes a couple of the Gales to drag him down. Initial hit by Andy Aldo. And again, as Buddy mentioned, from the tackles are being made in the secondary. Not a good sign.
Not a good sign. Give credit last play, too, to Chris Larkin, the offensive guard who got out in front of Dewey, allowed him to pick up another 5 yards. Seymour always gets that guard in front of that option, and they do a great job downfield blocking people.
Second and short for Seymour at the 14 of Shelton. The I formation, 3 wide receivers, the basic Seymour offensive set. Dewey inside the 10. It's another Seymour first down. Bobby Ayer on the tackle for the Gales.
It's repetitious, but there's Brooks kicking out and Dewey just following him behind.
Shelton takes the timeout.
Shelton is unable to take away the off tackle, and inside they're not doing a great job either, as Dewey is really running all along that line of scrimmage for excellent yardage. Between 5-7 and he'll break that 10-yarder. And they're just clicking off first downs as they're first and goal here about the 7-yard line, looking to get another score and to get the lead early here in this first quarter of football, or late in this first quarter of football. As you see the large crowd that is gathered here in Seymour for the opening game. They support their Wildcats throughout the season, and Seymour is looking for an outstanding year this year as they return a number of veteran football players.
The Cats got off to that shaky start. First 2 possessions, 2 turnovers. That first turnover, an interception return for the touchdown by Rondini. But after that, the Wildcats have gotten that offense in gear.
Change this year for Seymour as Bobby Kello is down on the sidelines. He used to be upstairs. He is the offensive coordinator, and the brain behind the offense has done an excellent job, and this year he's doing it from the sidelines.
Goulet goes in motion. Inside, Brooks, touchdown.
Just a straight ahead part of that Cincinnati triple to Billy Brooks. Brooks goes 7 yards as he just goes right over the guard. We've got a tackle blocking down. The guard just folds around for that touchdown. Anderson folded around and led Brooks into the end zone for the 6 points.
So the Wildcats have taken a lead for the first time in the football game. Now lead at 12-7. And they have looked awfully good the last 2 possessions.
They really haven't thrown the football either to get this. They just driven the football down the field on the ground.
And Del Toro can throw. And they have the receivers too. Del
Nice
Toro on
read.
the option for the 2 points.
Del Toro runs it in for a 2-point conversion for the Wildcats.
Came with the option. Del Toro read it, just stuck back up inside the tackle into the end zone. You get the dive inside to hold the linebackers. Guard comes outside Larkin, and Del Toro just finds a spot to dip it back inside for the 2-point conversion. Seymour 14, Shelton 7, 2 minutes left in this first quarter.
Hey, buddy, it's not too early to remind our viewers that at the conclusion of the football game, we'll be presenting our Fitzpatrick's Player of the Game Award. It's always a feature we look forward to. And in the third quarter, for the second consecutive year, we'll be running a weekly feature, Coach's Tips, with Buddy Chernovitz. Understand you got into the weight room for some of the shows.
Talked to the trainer this year, try and talk a little bit about preventing injuries, and did a little bit on the kicking game.
Kicking off for the Wildcats.
Rondini along with Keklik, two of the captains for the Gales, deep at about the 20-yard line. Kip Anderson will be doing the kicking off. And at this point, the Cats are in control of this football game.
Shelton is going to have to move the ball on offense because that Seymour offense is definitely moving. A lot of yardage, and they've got to keep the ball, get some first downs.
RJ to about the 27-yard line. Stopped by DJ Selzano. Buddy, we'll see what they do in the quarterback spot.
Ball is kicked to Rondini. We'll get back close to the 30-yard line at about the 28 before he's tackled, but he does not have that mobility with that left ankle being taped. We'll see how he's able to do. He goes out. He's not going to play quarterback, and we'll see Dan Field again for this third series.
Well,
Shelton has not gotten a first down.
Well, Rondini is one of the running backs along with Sipkaski, and they throw it to Rondini, incomplete out of the backfield. Sonny Szynski on the coverage for the Cats.
Ball is a little overthrown. Field will just throw the ball to the fingertips of Rondini. He'll stretch but cannot pull it in. Excellent try. Great pattern as Rondini just came down the seam. Field tried to hit him as Shelton went to a first down pass to try and open up that defensive front of the Seymour Wildcats.
Over the football to center, the sophomore Jeff Piscaneri. Rondini in the backfield with Sipkaski. Field back to throw on second down. Gets it out there and overthrows his receiver at midfield.
Mark Primavera came off the hash that time as they just tried to run the sideline route. Seymour is in it too deep, and Primavera, you'll see 45 come over. Ball is overthrown, prevents the completion, but a pretty good job of coverage by Seymour as that ball was well out of the reach of the intended receiver, Dave Peterson, as he went down the field.
3rd and 10 for the Gales. At their 27-yard line, we're deep into the first quarter. Field again, backside pressure by David Dewey. And Field is brought down inside the 20-yard line.
David Dewey came untouched from the backside end. You'll see Dewey start out right here at the top of your picture. Field never sees him come. He gets a great shot right here, and luckily Field does not fumble the football for Shelton, as he had an excellent shot. Brings the Shelton football team back to the 18-yard line, and they are in some trouble here. They have not been able to convert a first down, and they're about to punt it away to a football team that's been able to move the ball on them this entire first quarter.
Under a minute to go here in the first quarter.
Szynski, the deep man for the Cats.
Sonny Szynski is back deep. And R.J. Rondini with the punt. And it's going to roll dead at about midfield. And the Cats have the football again.
Go out here.
And the ball is marked at the 49-yard line of Shelton.
This is a big defensive series for Shelton because they're in danger of getting blown out of this thing early. They've got to commit and stop this Seymour offense right now.
Out of your pictures, Szynski and Torres, and Szynski on the attempted pass, incomplete. Sonny drops it at the 45 of Shelton Keklik, the Shelton player defending.
Excellent coverage. It's just a quick slant in here as they try and get Szynski. Szynski has the football, and then he will lose it on contact. From behind, he's grabbed by number 21, Keklik, and from the front, hit by number 40. I think that's Bill Dean as they strip the football away. Good coverage by Shelton. Seymour in a 2nd and 10, unusual for them in this early part of the first quarter because they haven't really faced a 2nd and 10.
That's Szynski in your picture in motion, and that's Dewey running the football. And this time the center of that Shelton defense is equal to the task. Middle 3 for Shelton. Panagiotis, Bobby, and D'Agostine.
Good job, Shelton, inside, closing that down. First time they really stopped Dewey as he comes right up back over the middle.
Third down 9.
Brings up a big 3rd and 9 as the first quarter draws to a close here.
And we played one here at the Barber Field in Seymour. Our score, Seymour 14, Shelton 7. Welcome back, everyone, to the Barber Field in Seymour. Seymour Wildcats have the football to begin the second quarter. They lead it 14-7. They have the football 3rd and 9. Del Toro,
Screen.
deep drop. It's a screen set up to Brooks, and it goes incomplete. Just as well for the Wildcats because Shelton defends the play well, led by D'Agostine and Dean.
Both D'Agostine and Dean read Billy Brooks on the screen. We're sitting there waiting for the throw. Excellent job on coverage, and it'll force the punt situation. Coach Branca has to be pleased with his defense that time because that's a big series for them. They need now to start getting a couple first downs on offense and to establish a little bit of consistency as Coach Sponheimer there is making sure that punt team, special team unit is together as they punt the football to Shelton here as we begin this second quarter of football.
Keklik is deep for the Gales. On the 4th down for the Wildcats. A little bit of confusion now. Just into the second quarter of play here at the Barber Field. Cable 10 Sports, our Valley High School football game of the week. Dave Sokolnicki will be punting for the Seymour Wildcats inside his 40-yard line. And a low punt. It's going to just roll dead at about the 27-yard line. So let's see what the Gales do with the football. And let's see what the quarterback situation is. It has been Dan Field throughout the entire game. Junior quarterback, 5'11", 155-pounder. And again, the Gales will go with Field at the quarterback spot. And a first down play coming up. Inside to Air, and he has stood up by the middle of that. Checked at the tailback, Zipkaski on the carry, and the mark is stood up after a pickup of just 1 on the play.
Shelton has not figured out that defense of Seymour yet. Seymour's done a pretty good job on the opposite side of figuring out the Shelton defense, but the Gales have not been able to block that line of scrimmage for any type of consistency. They have not gotten a first down, and their running game really has not done very much for them early.
In motion, that is Keklik. On the option, Rondini trying to sweep wide, unable to do so. Szynski from the secondary. Check that. Keith Goulet from the secondary, the 6', 164-pound junior.
Goulet is going to come over his own guy here. 19 plays the pitch, forces the pitch from Field, and then right here, coming over the top, Keith Goulet, and he just drags Rondini down to the ground as they attempted to come with the option, and they're going to lose a yard on this, bringing up a big 3rd down and about 11 for Shelton, and that's where they've been pretty much all day here on big 3rd, 2nd and long, 3rd and long situations, and they're not converting.
Split backs for the Gales. Field is going to put it up. Rolling, has time, throws it. It is a completion.
Great catch, great throw that time as Field just rolled to the outside. Szynski was right on coverage, but number 21 is going to come away with the catch. Alan Keklik, excellent job as the initial first down for the Shelton Gales on that play, and it'll give them a little field position here. Good job by the backs and protect, and you see Subkaski outside. Field throws a strike. Keklik takes the football right at the first down marker. Wrestled out of bounds by Szynski, but it is a first down for the Gales.
And they have it at their 37-yard line. Seymour leads at 14-7. In motion, Subkaski now at the fullback spot, and Rondini is not going to go anywhere. He is stuck by defensive end Stramello.
Jeff Stramello, the junior, was waiting. Great tackle now. Watch form tackle here as he just puts the shoulder into the chest of Rondini here, right there, and drives him back about 4.5 to 5 yards. Jeff Stramello with a great tackle. No gain for Shelton, 2nd and 10.
Shelton is bringing in the plays via the tight ends. Right now it's Kroc in at tight end for the Gales. Steve Kroc, a flag is dropped. The pass over the middle is complete to Kroc, the tight end, into Seymour territory. Goulet on the tackle. Let's await the call.
Field pass complete to Kroc.
It's going to go against the Shelton Gales as Field just drops back, throws another strike over the middle.
We have a penalty marker down.
Enough for a first down, but it is going to be brought back as they're discussing the penalty with Seymour. Shelton on a looks like an illegal procedure penalty. And it will move them back 5 yards, bring up a 2nd and 15. You see Kevin Woods there explaining to Shelton what they did wrong. Someone was not set on the line of scrimmage.
Motion penalty cost the
Big
Gales
play
5
brought
yards.
back, and the Gales now are backed up with a 2nd and 15.
Pete Del Toro checks in the nickel back arrangement in the defensive secondary for the Cats. The Seymour expecting the Gales to go to the air on 2nd and long, 2nd and 14 at the 31. Dan Field calls a timeout. He wants to talk things over. And with our score, Seymour 14 and Shelton 7, we'll take a timeout also. Welcome back, everyone, to Sonny DeBarber Field. 9:05 remaining here in the second quarter in our first half of action. Our first game of the 90s on Valley Cablevision, Cable 10 Sports Valley High School football game of the week. 2nd and 14 for the Gales at the 36. Pitch out, back to R.J. Rondini, throws it, incomplete. Intended receiver was Alan Keklik at midfield, and the Wildcats had spelled out that play. Sonny Szynski among the coverage for the Seymour Wildcats. Or is that Goulet? I'm getting confused between 87 and 81. Keith Goulet. Keith Goulet, by the way, buddy, sat out all last year with an injury for the Wildcats. The coaching staff very high on this young man.
He played Pop Warner football with me when we had a pretty good football team, and he's a great kid. A lot of other kids like Scott Primavera and his brother Mark, but it's great to see these young men continue in football.
Dan Field on 3rd down, throws it. It's a catch close to the marker for the first down.
Wow, we're going to get a bad spot here on the Shelton side, and a good spot if you're a Seymour fan. It's going to come up here a little short. Field is doing a good job throwing the football as he gets pretty good protection back there and just throws another strike down to the sideline. Excellent catch. Now watch the spot. He gets very close to that first down marker and is going to bring up a 4th and about maybe an inch to an inch and a half as they bring the yard markers out. Big call here for Shelton now as they're right around midfield, and they're about an inch short of that first down.
Buddy, that time the receiver was the sophomore Dave Peterson, 5'10", 130-pound receiver for the Gales.
You know, it's interesting when people talk about size in high school football, but you go down and look at some of these individuals like Jeff Stramello, 5'9", and some of the other young men that are not big. Brian Foster, 5'7", 167. There is a spot for young people, for small people, to play this game of football in high school, and boy, you should get out there and do it. It's a great game.
4th and inches. I formation for the Gales. They give it to Subkaski out of the fullback spot. I don't believe he has it.
He is not going to get the spot. He will not get the first down, and the Seymour Wildcats hold here on a big possession as they will get the ball back inside the Shelton 50-yard line. Straight ahead, and he is met solid right there as number 54 for Seymour came right off the block, Rich Connors, and met him, stood him up, got help from the linebackers. Seymour now with the ball at about the 46.5-yard line of the Shelton Gales. And I don't know why they're bringing that out, because it's futility on the part of Shelton. He lost yardage on that.
So the Wildcats will take over on downs.
They have the ball at the 46-yard line of Shelton, first down and 10.
Ball is at the 47-yard line of Shelton. Seymour takes over.
That may be a big turning point in this football game for the Gales. Again, their defense has to hold right here.
Goulet in a slot now goes in motion, and he draws Chavs offside. And let's see if that's going to be ruled a simple encroachment against Shelton. Dead ball foul coming up.
It's going to go against Seymour. The tackle had a move. Watch if we can see 78 right there. He does move. Connors does move before the snap of the ball. Did reset, but number 88 for Shelton came across Chevs, making contact and bringing about that 5-yard penalty.
So a 1st and 15 for the Wildcats. Now on the 48-yard line, their own 48. Goulet goes in motion. Del Toro just about gets it off on the pitch. That is Mark Primavera out of the tailback spot. And Primavera fights for 3 down to the 49 of Shelton. Flags are dropped on the play, and we'll await the call.
I don't know how this guy can make a face mask call. I tell you, I've seen this more and more. The ball is reached in. There's no face mask at all. He grabs his neck. He does not have the face mask. Pitch is made. Primavera does a great job here avoiding this tackle and then turning up for positive yardage. He picks up about 5, but with the penalty, it's going to be another first down for the Wildcats on that face mask penalty, and that is not a good call from that point.
So the ball is brought down to the 33-yard line. And
Watch,
let's take a look at it
the arm
again.
is around the neck. It is not on the face mask. His hand has to have the face mask. His hand does not have it. His hand is wrapped around the shoulder. Not a good call and a big play for Seymour.
So first down for the Wildcats at the 33 of Shelton. Goulet goes in motion. The up back is Brooks. Primavera out of the tailback spot, and Mark slides off the right side. He's taken down finally by Rob Johnson in the secondary.
Primavera is following in the steps of Dewey as Brooks kicks out right here at the end, and then Primavera just looks for that opening, picks up about 2 yards. Mark Primavera filling in there for David Dewey, and Mark is an excellent back in his own right.
2nd and 9 for Seymour at the 32 of Shelton. Goulet goes in motion. The give to Brooks. Brooks still on his feet as he gets down to the 25-yard line before he's taken down by Kecklick.
You can see the intensity of Billy Brooks running the football. He's tough to bring down as he's hit right at the line of scrimmage and then breaks a tackle, picks up another 7 yards before he's dragged down very close to that first down, and it takes a number of the Gales to bring him to the ground. He's an intense football player, very hard runner out of that fullback spot for the Shelton or Seymour offense, and he highlights that tailback because you've got to play both of these young men.
On the option, Del Toro. And greeting him first is Chavs, Dan Chavs, 5'9", 166-pound defensive end.
Del Toro was stopped short of the first down, and then by his own momentum was able to push forward and pick it up as they did a good job, Shelton, in stopping him, although Peter was able to push forward and get that big first down for the Seymour Wildcats as they're down inside that 25, close to the 22-yard line with about 5:58 left to go here in this second quarter. Seymour enjoying that 14-7 lead, looking to enlarge it here on an excellent drive after Shelton failed to convert on that 4th and less than an inch.
Goulet in motion. The give to Dewey, back at tailback. Dewey inside the 10, touchdown Seymour. David Dewey.
That's just a great run by David Dewey as he used his blockers all over the football field and running that 22 yards for that touchdown. Dewey just comes in now, follows Brooks, right up the middle, and watch him run with his blockers. Right here, he just lets 77 make the block and then just steps behind it into the end zone for the third touchdown of the day by that Seymour offense here in this first half.
Wildcats go for a 2-point conversion.
And the Cats want to go for 2 on the extra point conversion, and they give it to Mark Primavera, and Primavera slides in for the pair.
For the Wildcats. Seymour 22.
And so the Cats take a 22-7 lead.
Primavera comes on the crossbucker counter, and he will drag himself into the end zone with a great effort for those 2 points. Mark Primavera and David Dewey just doing an excellent job, along with Billy Brooks in the backfield. Peter Del Toro engineering the offense has just had a remarkable first half here in Seymour's first game of the year. You heard Coach Spunheimer talk about the ability of his offense to pick up a lot of things and to sophisticate that offense, or to handle the sophistication of that offense for this first game, and they're certainly showing you the ability to move the ball.
Buddy, he said it to you in your pregame interview with the coach, and he made a point of saying it to me during the week. The fact that going to school later was enabled him to get that sophisticated system in. He did not feel he had to cram anything down their throats, and the results thus far have been pretty obvious.
3 a day certainly have helped the Seymour Wildcats here for this first game.
Kip Anderson will kick it away, and Rondini takes the football at the 15. And he's taken down. Brooks on a hammer lock.
Billy Brooks got a takedown on that one, as took him on the upper body and just threw Rondini to the ground. It has been pretty much all Seymour here early in this first half of football. You see Rondini there grabbed by Brooks, and he just takes him and hog ties him to the ground. Gets help from number 24 for Seymour there on the special teams, and that was
DJ Salzano.
DJ Salzano, another Pop Warner young man who's getting in on some special teams.
First down at the 25. Danfield is going all the way at quarterback. He's going to run the football with some open real estate in front of him, and he gets the first down outside the 40 before he's taken down by Szynski.
Tackle made by Szynski and Torres.
Fields saw a lot of white lines and green grass as he stepped back to pass, and does an excellent job just breaking to the outside, picking up a first down before he runs into Szynski here, number 81, and also for Seymour, number 82 there, who also was in on the tackle.
So it's a first down for the Shelton Gales, a single back set and a double wing formation. And the give to the lone running back, that is Subkaski, as he crossed the 45-yard line. Taken down by Brian Sirowich, now in on defense for Seymour. Number 76, 6'2", 296-pound junior defensive tackle. Twin formation out to the left side, the bottom of your picture, 2nd down and 6. The give to Rondini out of the tailback spot, and Rondini, I believe, has picked up another Gale first down as he crosses midfield and into Seymour territory.
Rondini just following Subkaski to fullback. Outruns an arm tackle there by number 75 for Seymour, and then just picks up pretty good yardage on that first down carry, bringing up about a 2nd down picking up that first down, excuse me, for the Shelton Gales on that 2nd down carry.
Darby to the bottom of your picture, Keklik to the upper half. And first down, Field puts it up. It is incomplete. His intended receiver was Keklik. Double coverage. Szynski along with Scott Primavera. .341 remaining here in the first half of play at the Barber Field. And Seymour leads it by 2 scores, 22-7. Blanchette sets up now in a slot to the right side. And the Gales go without a tight end. A passing formation. Field throws it out. That's Blanchette. And taken down by a whole host of Wildcats led by Mark Primavera.
Blanchette just circled out of the backfield that time. Dan Field threw a strike to him for about 7 yards. It brings up a third and about 3 yards for Shelton. And if they can get into the end zone before the halftime with some type of score here, it will bring them back into that second half. I think a little bit more ready to play Seymour than if they don't get in and aren't able to convert some points here.
Setting the backfield again. Sobkaski's running out of the fullback spot. R.J. Rondini to tailback, and Rondini gets the call, and he gets the first down. Rondini inside the 30-yard line.
Shelton is now starting to attack the tackle spot, the off-tackle hole, with the fullback and that tailback coming behind. Sobkaski makes a great block right there. He turns out number 32, David Dewey, allowing Rondini to get downfield for another first down around the 29-yard line. And Shelton now has that running game moving, and Seymour is forced to take a timeout. They've got to regroup a little bit, as Coach Sponheimer is not exactly a happy camper as he goes out to talk to that defense.
Buddy, on that last play, it was Scott Primavera finally dragging down Rondini. Scott, of course, 5'9", 137-pound senior. And Scott and Mark are identical twins. Scott and Mark Primavera in the secondary for the Seymour Wildcats. Shelton scored first in this football game. Early on was Seymour's first possession. Peter Del Toro put up a pass, and Rondini intercepted and returned for the touchdown from 20 yards out. And that was with 10:25 remaining in the first quarter of play.
This is Pat Summerall right here now in the right over the Valley Cable logo and sign, which is a new addition this year.
Are you saying that you're John Madden? Now, you're not big enough.
I'm big enough. I'm not good enough.
You're not big enough. And after, of course, that initial score by the Shelton Gales, it's been all the Seymour Wildcats. Brooks, a 1-yard run, Buddy, and made it a 7-6 score, and extra point went awry, and then the Cats struck for 2 more scores. And that's where we are right now. 22 for Seymour, 7 for Shelton. And back in play. Dave Peterson out to the left side. Field, play action. Gets it out there, has a receiver out there. Touchdown, Shelton. Alan Keklick on the receiving end of the junior quarterback Dan Field's pass.
Dan Field had a great play fake, holding the linebackers and freezing the secondary. They did not get into their deep zones. Watch the play fake by Dan Field as he hides the football right here and then just waits. Sobkaski just runs by the corner, and he is wide open for the 6 points, and Shelton is right back. That's Alan Keklick on a great catch and throw from Dan Field. A lot of scoring here in this first half of football. And with 2:38 left to go, it may not be over yet.
Shelton will try for 2.
And Shelton will be going for 2 points. 22-13, RJ goes in motion. Field wants to put it up as a receiver in the end zone. It is broken up by Goulet. Keith Goulet breaking it up. And Seymour maintains a 9-point advantage. But you're right, buddy, an awful lot of scoring and a key drive and score for Shelton.
Again, watch this as Field just drops, tries to throw over the middle, throws into coverage. 3 Seymour football players there as Keith Goulet, the man on the spot for Seymour, knocking it down. Score remains 22-13. 2 minutes, 38 seconds left to go here in this second quarter of football.
Buddy, this might be a good opportunity, too, to thank our spotter in the booth, one of the injured Wildcats from Seymour, sophomore Mike Deese, helping us out here in the booth at the Barber Field.
Dewey and Sazinski, the deep men, back to receive.
Back deep for the Wildcats, Szynski along with David Dewey. Kicking off will be the tri-captain, R.J. Rondini. End over end, it drives Dewey back to the 5. Upended
Dewey on the return.
by Bill Panagiotis, known in Shelton circles as Smiley.
Excellent kick by Rondini as he drives Dewey back to about the 6. And then Dewey does a good job picking his way back to about the 26, 27 before Panagiotis gets a piece of him and takes him to the turf. Seymour now, we'll see if they go to their 2-minute drill. They've got 2:20 with the clock moving and enjoying a 22-13 lead.
Split backs, Peter Del Toro gives to Brooks, and Brooks, midfield, in the clear at the 40, and then taken down by Andy Aldo. Aldo on a touchdown saving tackle inside the 40-yard line when it appeared that Brooks might go all the way.
Brooks looked like he had stepped away from Rondini, the last guy, and Aldo came up as he just picks his way down, breaking tackles. It looks right here that 10 has the last shot at him, and then Aldo comes up and makes the tackle at the 40. Big run for Billy Brooks with 2 minutes, 4 seconds here to go.
The Cats sure have the offense, and a weak side hit by Chobbs of Peter Del Toro.
Del Toro did a great job holding on to the football as Chobbs came in again untouched from the blind side. Del Toro drops here, looks to throw the football, and then here comes Chobbs, number 88. Peter lost the ball to his other hand and then into his stomach, preventing the fumble. As Seymour will take a timeout here with 1:45 left to go in this first half.
So it'll be a 2nd and 14 when we resume play here.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I have your attention, please.
Seymour leads it 22-13 over Shelton.
Buick Regal with license plate 14689. Please return to your car. You left your lights on.
This year, if you can get a shot at Seymour, as we're looking, Bobby Keller, the offensive coordinator, out there. And a change, you look at Shelton, their football team went to the sidelines, and the entire team can go to the sidelines this year to converse with the coach during a timeout. So 2 strategies. The quarterback also was allowed to come within 5 yards of the sideline to talk to the coaches. Last year that was not allowed, as you see the Shelton team at the top of your picture coming back after having talked to their defensive coaches. Again, it allows the strategy on the part of coaches either to go out or to bring the team to them.
And Buddy, one other time when we might see something like that is after a score, the teams are similarly allowed to come to the sidelines. 2nd down, 14 as we resume play here. Late stages, first half. Seymour trying to tack on another score. Senior quarterback Del Toro gives it off to Brooks. Brooks gets into that Shelton secondary for another first down before he's taken down from behind.
Hurry up offense as Seymour will get to the ball. Brooks just on a draw play for another first down, about 14 yards.
Ball advance to the 22, Shelton. 1st and 10.
Bobby Ayer finally on the tackle, but not before the Wildcats have picked up a first down. Ball sitting at the 22-yard line of Shelton. Split backs for the Wildcats in their hurry-up offense. Peter Del Toro pumps once, still has the football. He's going to be taken down and sacked by the Gales. Chobbs, along with Subkaski.
Del Toro does not get rid of the football here as Chobbs was down, got back up, and will get another sack on Del Toro. He'll get help there from Subkaski, but Peter should have unloaded that one. Seymour is forced to take another timeout here with 1:27 left to go as they have the ball right around the 25-yard line of the Shelton Gales.
It'll now be a 2nd down and 16.
We'll be passing through the crowd
when we resume play here. Wildcats lead it by a score of 22-13 and trying to answer back after the Shelton lone score on offense.
Here we get a chance to see the draw play of Billy Brooks as Del Toro drops, just gives the ball to Brooks, and he will pick up close to 17 yards on that run. Again, Rondini with a tackle, preventing Brooks from going all the way as Seymour now ready to go with 1:27 left to go on the clock.
Szynski split out wide to the right side, not in your picture, and Goulet in your picture goes in motion on 2nd and long. Sprint draw, that's Dewey with the football.
Dewey carries.
And inside on the tackle, number 30, Matt Lima, now in at linebacker for Shelton.
Lima and
Seymour has really not been able to throw the football against Shelton. They've done it all on the ground.
3rd and 10. Del Toro, blindside pressure, Chobbs. The ball is loose, and it's covered by the Gales. Bill Panagiotis falling on the loose football. Chobbs got to Del Toro first.
Chobbs is going to get his 3rd sack here as Del Toro again does not see him coming. This time Peters unable to pull the ball down as Chobbs just strips him of the football. Panagiotis, ball hit off of 78's leg. Chris Larkin bounced back, and Panagiotis on the spot for the Gales. And that's a big defensive series as we get ready to end this half of football, because the Shelton Gales were in danger of being scored on after having come back with that big touchdown at the 3:53 mark of the second quarter.
So with time winding down here in the first half, Dan Field just hands off on the first down. It's very possible, as Subkaski is the ball carrier, that the Gales will just run it out and go down by just 9 at the end of the first half. Stramello on the tackle.
Shelton's in there 2-minute 0-2 here. They're not so ready to run it out.
17 seconds and the clock is ticking down, and you're right, buddy, as Field gets it out in the flank to Blanchette, and he's taken down out of bounds on the far sidelines by Goulet.
9 seconds left to go. Shelton still has 2 plays here. They still have a timeout. Field just rolls out and then throws the ball into the flat.
their own 38.
Shelton receiver Glenn Blanchette just takes it right out of bounds for the first down and stopping that clock. They're at the 42, 43-yard line with 2 plays left. They'd have to break a big one here, but the Gales have not quit. They are still coming at the Shelton or the Seymour Wildcats.
And, buddy, quite possibly the Gales have picked up a little bit of momentum in this
that
football
last
game.
Defensive series certainly has to help after the touchdown. It's going to be an interesting second half of football. 9
seconds left. That was Stramello with some blindside pressure on Field. And Keklik gets the completion. And Goulet again on the tackle.
Field will just drop. And as the play will end the second quarter of football, excellent reception right there. Shelton was unable to get the timeout. And the Gales will go into halftime with a pretty good defensive surge after coming off a touchdown.
And we have played one half of football, the first half of football in the decade of the 90s on Cable 10 Sports, Valley High School Football Game of the Week. Our score is Seymour 22 and Shelton 13. Back with the halftime festivities right after these messages. Due to technical difficulties with the music here at the Barber Field, we are unable to present the halftime activities. We will do everything in our power to work with the Seymour officials to rectify the situation in the future so that we can present the halftime festivities. We'll be right back with the second half kickoff right after these messages. Welcome back, everyone. And the action will begin in just a couple of moments in the second half. Our first telecast on our Cable 10 Sports Valley High School Football Game of the Week series. So we kick off the 1990s. Shelton Gales will receive the second half kickoff. Back deep, R.J. Rondini, along with Alan Keklik. Kicking off for the Wildcats will be Kip Anderson. Seymour leads it by 9, 22-13. It's been a good one thus far in this Intra-Valley and Housatonic League matchup. That's Rondini.
Rondini on the return.
And Rondini getting outside to contain. Rondini 40 and taken down out of bounds at about the 45. Scott Primavera on the tackle. Rondini's return to set up some good field position for the Gales.
Rondini will just break to the outside and gets outside, as Eddie said, of contain. Scott Primavera, number 21, does a great job getting over there and preventing the touchdown as Rondini brings the ball back to the 42. Excellent field position for the Shelton Gales as we begin the second half.
2 wide receivers either side of the field as we check the backfield alignments for the Shelton Gales. Dan Field has gone all the way at quarterback. And Sapkowski, the ball carrier, tied up by Rich Connors, middle linebacker for Seymour. Jeff Carina also on the tackle, along with Brian Foster, who shares the inside linebacking duties for the Wildcats.
Sapkowski came on the counter across buck, little misdirection, but the Wildcats were ready as Rich Connors stood him up right at the hole. No gain as we bring up a 2nd and 10 for the Shelton Gales.
Top part of your picture, Dave Peterson, the sophomore receiver. And out of your picture, out to the right, is tri-captain Alan Keklick. 2nd down. Rondini for the 1st down on the pass from Dan Field, and Scott Primavera on the tackle. But the Shelton Gales have moved the football their initial possession of the 2nd half.
Field just steps back, and Rondini comes out of the backfield and circles down the hash for an excellent catch before he's wrapped up. Primavera had a shot at him and then dragged to the ground, but a big 1st down here in this opening possession of the 2nd half for the Gales as their offense has started to click a little bit at the end of that 1st half, now beginning the 2nd half.
Double wing formation, and the lone setback is Sapkowski, a loose ball.
Fumble on the play.
At the line of scrimmage. No indication yet, and it is the Gales football.
Looks like number 65 for Shelton. Leon Sylvester will get credit for the recovery, as there was a problem on the exchange between Field and Panagiotis, the offensive center. Ball was dropped, covered by Sylvester, the right guard, and Shelton now, as the clock is stopped here, we'll see whether it's an equipment timeout. And you see the Red Raiders there, a number of the Derby football players who opened their season last night with a 21-0 victory over Brantford, and they'll be coming up within the next couple weeks on Valley Cable's high school football game of the week.
Try next weekend, right here at the Barber Field, as one game in a doubleheader. Dan Field rolls out near sidelines and gets down inside the 40-yard line before he's wrestled down by Dave Dewey.
Brought down by Dewey.
Field has done a good job of getting outside and continuing that sprint for good yardage, as here he will come to the near side. Dewey is pinned inside the defensive end, and then Field just puts the ball away, not able to find a receiver. Dewey scampers back away from the block and drags him out of bounds, but Field picks up about 3.5 yards on that play for Shelton. It brings up, though, a big 3rd and about 7.
3rd and a long 7 for the Gales. The football is at the 39 of Shelton. Dan Field looking to throw as a receiver out there. It is dropped by Keklick. Keklick had it and dropped it, and he was covered like a blanket by Sonny Szynski.
That was an excellent throw, an excellent coverage that time by Szynski. Brings up a 4th down. Shelton will drop into the punt formation and try and pin Seymour back inside their 20-yard line.
Sonny Szynski back deep to receive the punt. And it rolls into the end zone. That was R.J. Rondini's punt, and it'll be an automatic touchback. And the Wildcats will take over their first possession of the 2nd half at their 20-yard line. They lead it by 9, 22-13. Coming up later in this quarter, the first in a series, the 2nd year of Coach's Tips with Buddy Chernovitz. First down for the Seymour Wildcats at the 20-yard line as we begin matters here in the 2nd half. Shelton's first possession results in the punt.
Timeout, Shelton.
Shelton was forced to take a timeout here as they weren't ready defensively, trying to get one of their tackles on the field.
Return to action.
First game of the year has been pretty penalty free, and most
Right here at the Barber Field,
of the kids are
the Derby Red Raiders.
with the assignments. As you see Pop Shortle there along the sidelines, probably has not missed a Valley game in 45 years or more.
After next week, they will be on the road for 3 consecutive weekends. All 3 weekends.
If you ever want any information about Valley football, he's the guy to see. The historian of Valley football for a long period of time.
Buddy, we mentioned before when we saw the shot of the Derby players, we're going to have 2 games for the viewers on Valley Cablevision on our Game of the Week series. Next weekend, we're going to be having the Ansonia at Shelton night game, and then we'll also be bringing you the Housatonic and Inter-Valley matchup between the Raiders of Derby and Seymour right here at the Barber Field. Dave Dewey on a straight handoff, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. The whole center of that Shelton defense in on the stop.
D'Agostine was the initial hit.
Checking into the Seymour lineup at the wide receiver Scott Primavera, and coming off is Jacinto Torres. Second and 10 for the Seymour Wildcats. Twins formation out to the top left part of your picture. Szynski now goes in motion. Del Toro wants to put it up, and he fires it out incomplete. Szynski was hit just as he accepted the pass by Rondini.
We mentioned in the first half that Shelton has done an outstanding job on their pass defense. Szynski tried to come over the middle that time, and Rondini was there waiting for him. Rondini hit Szynski as the ball touched his hands, and it brings up a big 3rd down play. But for Shelton, they've done a great job in their pass defense. They need to get a little more along the line of scrimmage from their defensive front on the running game.
3rd down. Del Toro, a deep drop, fires it out to Mark Primavera. Primavera, 20-yard line, 30. 35, and finally hammered and taken down. Peter Del Toro dropped back almost to his end zone before he screened it out to Mark Primavera. And Primavera has picked up the Seymour 1st down.
Del Toro does a great job. He looks left, left, left. Everybody comes in, and all of a sudden he just throws it off to the right. Primavera waiting for the screen, and then does an excellent job picking up the 1st down. He is a great running back in the open field. Great job by Primavera, and an outstanding job by Peter Del Toro in looking that screen off and then dumping it to him.
Goulet goes in motion. The give is to the fullback, Brooks. He's tied up inside. Leading the play defensively for the Gales is Panagiotis from his nose guard position.
Brooks just bangs inside for that tough yardage. He picks up about 2 yards off of that straight ahead dive. Part of that Cincinnati triple option, as we mentioned earlier. And the offensive line for Seymour is doing a good job against that Shelton front, but not opening the holes that they did early in that first half of football.
2nd and 9, and Bobby goes through the line of scrimmage. Let's see if he was drawn offside.
It's going to be against Seymour. The left guard and tackle both moved prior to the snap.
So the dead ball foul brings the football back to the 35-yard line, where the Cats will have a 2nd and 13. Cats lead it by 9. Entering the middle stages of this 3rd quarter from sunny to Barber Field, our season opener in Cable 10 Sports. Goulet goes in motion. Brooks, a big hole in the center of the line. Breaks the tackle by Aldo and rambles to the 45-yard line before he's taken down by Rondini. Billy Brooks.
You better wrap up number 48 if you're a defensive player. Billy Brooks again has been breaking tackles all day. Broke 2 before he got down into the secondaries. He just cuts back right over the middle. He'll run out of a tackle right here. Picks up an extra 7 or 8 yards before Rondini and company drag him to the ground. Another big 1st down.
Dave Dewey, the tailback.
Dewey carries.
as he gets to the 45 of Shelton.
Sapkowski and Panagiotis on the stop gain.
Sapkowski along with Panagiotis on the tackle for the Gales. 2nd and 9 for the Seymour Wildcats. Twins formation to the bottom part of your picture. Ashley Goulet in a slot. Torres, the bottom of your screen. Szynski, the wide out to the right side. Peter Del Toro on the pitch out. Keklik up to make the play. Dave Dewey on the carry.
Keklik will come from his deep secondary position as Sapkowski forces the pitch, and right here, Keklik, number 21, meets Dewey at the line of scrimmage, preventing any big gain, and brings up a big 3rd down. Good job on the part of the Shelton Gales that time in defensing the option as they read it very well. Keklik came up from the linebacker position to make the tackle.
Scott Primavera, Torres, and Szynski, the wide receivers. Or check that Goulet. Complete to Szynski inside the 35-yard line.
Szynski was driven out of bounds before his feet hit the ground. What a great catch and a great throw by Del Toro to Szynski. Del Toro will drop, and Szynski will again run the sideline. Makes a great catch, and you'll see him driven out of bounds without his feet touching in the field of play, and that is acceptable as long as the defensive player forced him out of bounds. Szynski suffered a little bit of a cramp there as he's back up and ready to go.
Torres to the bottom part of your picture. David Dewey, 25, an opening 20-yard line, and finally spilled from behind by Panagiotis.
Dewey again just follows Billy Brooks. Looks as if he's going to break into the open right here, and then Panagiotis just gets him as he had to clutch it and reshift after making that cut, but he brings it down again for another 1st down about the 19-yard line of the Shelton Gales.
And it's another Wildcat 1st down. Torres out to the left. Mark Primavera in at tailback. Fullback, the up back is Brooks, and he gets the call. And Billy Brooks slides to the 15-yard line. Taken down, the initial hit by Brian Fetty.
Brooks got most of that on his own as he slid behind some blocking, but pulled himself forward for about a 4.5 to 5-yard gain. Just cracking it up the middle, forcing that Shelton defense to play tough in the middle, and it allows Dewey to break to the outside and allows that option to work.
2nd and 5 for the Cats at the Shelton 15. Del Toro, after faking it to Brooks on the carry himself, Pete gets inside the 15 to about the 13. Before he's taken down by Jason Natavaska, now in at defensive tackle for Shelton. And also in now for the Gales at the nose guard is Ray Sawyer, 5'6", 165-pound junior.
Get him a yard, 3rd and 4.
3rd and 4 coming up for the Seymour Wildcats at the 14-yard line of Shelton. They've mounted a long drive, a sustained drive here in the 3rd quarter. Brooks again, and Brooks might just have picked up another Wildcat 1st down. Again, Natavaska on the tackle.
Brooks just bangs across the tackle hole. Sapkowski and company dragging him to the ground, but as Eddie said, another 1st down, this time inside the 10. It's 1st and goal.
I formation for the Wildcats, the offset I formation. Peter Del Toro slides off the right side, and he takes a couple of hits there. It's down to maybe the 7-yard line. He's stacked up by the inside of that Shelton defense. Ray Sawyer off the pile. Lima Sipkaski all around the football.
Sawyer on the stop. Gave him about 2 yards. Second and goal.
Second and goal. Ball marked at the 7-yard line. Scott Primavera wide to the left side. Goulet a slot to the left side. Del Toro, option. Dewey cuts it back against the grain and slides to the 1-foot line. Diane Chavs on the stop of Del Toro.
Dewey had a great move. After receiving the pitch, he just stopped and cut back to the goal line. Fake inside, just holds the linebackers coming out as Del Toro, and he just pitches the football. Watch Dewey right here just stop, and then the pursuit overruns him, and he just ducks back inside right to the 1-yard line. Great run by David Dewey.
Third and goal. Goulet will go in motion. Brooks, Seymour, touchdown. There is a flag on the play.
Penalty, I think we're going to count people here. Shelton may have 12 on the field. Shelton does have 12 people on the field. Even with 12 here, they couldn't stop that one as Billy Brooks just ducked it back over the guard for the touchdown. Right into the end zone. The third touchdown of the day for Billy Brooks. He's gone 1 yard, 1 yard, and 7 yards for the Seymour Wildcats.
So the Cats have upped their margin to 2 scores now. 28 points for Seymour to 13 for Shelton. And they'll be going for 2.
Cats go for a 2-point
Scott
conversion.
Primavera, Goulet out to the left side. Goulet in motion for the 2 points on the conversion. Del Toro pitches to Mark Primavera, and the ball squirts loose at about the 15-yard line. No good. Wildcats lead at 28-13. Let's take this timeout. Welcome back, everyone. Kippy Anderson will be kicking off for the Wildcats. They have scored on a long sustained drive. Billy Brooks taking it in from short yardage, about 1 foot out. Rondini on the return for Shelton. And he's taken down on the far side of the field. And let's go to our weekly feature, Coach's Tips, with Buddy Chernovitz.
We're here today in the athletic training room at Amity High School to talk with Tom Elwell, the head trainer in Amity. Tom, what are qualifications for being a trainer today in high school athletics?
All trainers that are certified by the NATA have at least a bachelor's degree in physical education or a related field. Most trainers go further and get their master's degree in either physical therapy or exercise physiology.
Tom, what can coaches do to help prevent athletic injuries for their young athletes?
One of the most important things is staying in condition all year round. The athletic trainer works with the coaching staff in fitness during the summer, especially for the football season. General conditioning, running, swimming, biking. Still, even these days, the major part of the injuries are too much too soon, where the muscle and tendon units aren't strong enough to do the day in and day out practices that they have to do.
Tom, thank you, and we're going to be back with Tom for the next 3 weeks here in the training room. We'll see you next week.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, the Gales have their work cut out for them.
Scott Primavera got credit for that last tackle. Don't forget, second time he caught Rondini trying to break it to the outside. Shelton now really has to get something going. They've got to get an offensive drive and get some points on the board. They're 15 points out of this game, so they're 2 touchdowns plus.
Inside handoff from the quarterback field. Going to the sophomore Bobby Eyre. Brian Foster on the tackle for the Seymour Wildcats. Reminder to our viewers that we'll be awarding the Fitzpatrick's Player of the Game
3 yards, second down and
at the
7.
conclusion of this football game. Second down for Shelton, 2nd and 7, as Rondini now goes in motion. Single setback is Subkaski on the rollout on the option. That's Dan Field. Coming up to meet Field is Foster, as Field gets close to the 40-yard line.
Stop made by Foster.
Field just will come out on the option, and then we'll just turn it up inside. Brian Foster is there, coming from his linebacker position. The 5'7" junior does an excellent job of bringing Field down. Shelton faced with a 3rd down situation at about 3.5, and they've got to keep this drive going, so they've got to come from something out of their bag of trips here, or tricks, in order to keep possession.
At double wing formation, Subkaski is the lone setback. Field is going all the way at quarterback. Fine catch by Stephen Kroc, and it should be enough for the first down. And the near sidelines at the 45. The nickelback Del Toro rode him out there.
This is a great throw and catch because Del Toro has excellent coverage. It's just thrown over his hands. He makes a great catch before he steps out of bounds to keep the drive alive for the Gales. Shelton has gone to that single back and has had pretty good success in widening Seymour out a little bit, but still the consistency on offense has not been there for the Gales all afternoon.
Darby to the bottom part of your picture. Check that. That is Aldo. Darby out to the left side. And Field on a deep drop is pressured and gets it off and overthrows his receiver.
Andy Aldo tried to do the out and up route, and Field let it go before he had finished the pattern, which is what you're supposed to do, but it was a little bit overthrown, and Aldo was really unable to get to the spot where Field had thrown it.
Shooting through, buddy, on the pressure was John Karpovich, now in defensively for Seymour. So it'll be 2nd and 10 for Shelton, down by 15 points if my mathematics is correct.
2 touchdowns and 2 conversions for the Gales. They're certainly not out of it.
Field rolling, a flag is dropped. He completes it to Kroc. Kroc to the 25-yard line, but let's await the call. That might come back.
It's all coming back as we're going to get a holding penalty against, I would guess, the defensive end. Watch Stromello at the top of your picture here, number 19. He's going to get knocked down as the bootleg comes, number 70. And that's where the penalty is going to be. And I don't know whether it was there or not, but Stromello did go down, and he stayed down for a while. Excellent throw and catch, but all for naught as the Gales going to be brought back about 10 yards from the 45 to around their own 33, 34-yard line, and it'll bring up a big 2nd and long. And they've got to continue this drive as it'll be at the 33. Mistake cost them, and we'll see if the Gales can make up for it here.
2nd down 22 after the holding penalty.
With about no time left in this 3rd quarter of football.
Well, the scoreboard clock indicates that there's no time, and the official time is kept up here. And now the officials realize what they've seen on the scoreboard. That's going to do it. That completes the 3rd quarter of play. Our score, Seymour 28, Shelton 13. Welcome back, everyone, as we begin matters in the 4th quarter here at DeBarber Field in Seymour. Gales are faced with a 2nd and long, 22 yards. They have the football just outside their 30 to 32-yard line. They're down by 15. They have to put the ball up in the air. They have to get a quick score. Field throws it out. It's intercepted. Mark Primavera with the football. And Primavera brings it inside the 30-yard line of Shelton. Mark Primavera, 5'9", 143, junior.
Field just is unable to get the ball off here. Arm might have been hit, and Primavera just sitting back in the outside zone does a great job of playing the football and then running it back down to the 30-yard line of the Gales. And that may be the final nail in the coffin of the Shelton Gales today with 11:31, 32 left to go in this football game. Seymour gets in again. It's all over.
Pete Del Toro on 1st down, fires away, and is intercepted by the Gales. Back to the 30-yard line, the 40-yard line, And to about the 43-yard line, Brian Fetty on the interception, the junior linebacker.
Peter Del Toro picked the ball, threw the ball for the interception, made the tackle, and watch now as he sets and tries to drill his receiver. Fetty just steps up here and takes the football, and he is close to going the distance, and that would have been a big turnaround as Seymour doesn't want to accept that prosperity, turns the ball over on the interception after having gotten the interception. Shelton back in business, in better field position than they were when they threw the interception 2 plays ago at about the 43.
1st and 10 for the Gales at the 43. Keklik will go in motion on 1st down. Rondini, a tailback, slides to midfield. Getting up off the stack, Julio DeVillis from the defensive tackle spot.
See if that turnover provides some momentum to the Gales now, because they're still alive in this game with 10 minutes left to go. Rondini just comes on a little counter back to the inside, picks up good yardage, close to 7. The Gales right at midfield here, and they got to get in the end zone right now and put their defense back on the field and get them the ball back, because they're certainly alive. They need the 2 touchdowns and 2 conversions to win this game.
Darby to the bottom part of your picture. That's Keklik going in motion on 2nd and 3 for the Gales. And Field, play action, wants to throw.
Boy.
Is it picked off? It is. Sazinski, who a moment ago, a few plays ago, was being worked on in the sidelines. Sazinski has made his return felt.
Not a good throw here by Dan Field as he puts the ball out. Sazinski, though, plays the football and just comes right up in front of Blanchette, the intended receiver, to pick it off.
So
We'll see if the Wildcats take some time off here rather than going for a home run. Still a lot of time here, 10 minutes and 1 second to go in this 4th quarter.
So, Buddy, in a space of a couple minutes, we've had 3 turnovers. And the officials indicate that they want that clock started. We're under 10 minutes to go here at the Barber Field. What has turned out to be a sparkling week weather-wise to open up the high school football season. David Dewey sprinting through the line. Dewey down to the 40-yard line before he's taken down by Rondini. RJ's been very active in that secondary for Shelton.
Brooks kicking out, Dewey up the middle. We've seen it all day. Again, David doing an outstanding job of running the football. Great natural ability to make those cuts and to utilize his blockers and getting downfield for the extra yardage.
Buddy, that's quite an offensive arsenal that the Wildcats have. They have Brooks and Dewey in the backfield. Del Toro's an experienced quarterback, runs the option well. Sazinski is a quality receiver.
I'd be scared if I was scouting him because they really haven't thrown the football as we know they can.
Dewey again for the 1st down, and again Rondini on the tackle. As the Wildcats pile up the yardage offensively on the ground.
Brooks just takes people on at that defensive end and just allows Dewey that ability to get into that secondary and to utilize his skills.
And as Buddy said before, he wanted to see if the Wildcats would run some clock here and just keep it on the ground. Brooks is the fullback behind him. David Dewey, the senior backfield. This time, Dewey is not going anywhere. Let's see who's at the bottom of that pile. And getting up is Billy Panagiotis. What a fire plug of a player he is for the Gales. 5'7", 190-pound senior nose guard. Billy does a fine job defensively for Coach Tony Branca's team. So 2nd and 12 coming up for the Wildcats. The football at the Shelton 27-yard line. Wildcats in their normal set. Goulet goes in motion. On the option, Peter Del Toro down the line of scrimmage, pitches, and a loose football. Falling on the football is the sophomore Rob Johnson.
Johnson with the recovery for Shelton.
Shelton is still keeping itself alive here as another turnover by Seymour. Stops that drive. You'll see now the pitch coming here, and then the ball is going to be pulled right here out of the arms of the fullback or the tailback and covered right there by the man who caused the fumble. Number 24 for the Shelton Gales, Rob Johnson, the sophomore 5'9", 145-pounder. Kevin Woods here making discussion against, penalty was against Seymour, obviously refused by the Gales, and the Gales will take over at the 28-yard line. 8:12 left to go here, still plenty of time for Shelton. But they've got to get the ball in the end zone on this drive, or they're not going to have enough time to get that second one.
David Peterson along with Keklik out to the left side. Keklik now in motion. Quick slant in, incomplete to Peterson, and almost intercepted by Primavera, Mark Primavera.
Mark Primavera defending, second down and 10.
Good job on coverage by Primavera. The ball was a little bit overthrown. Mark was right there, almost came up with his second interception. Gales just tried to hit a quick slant, pick up some yardage on first down.
So a 2nd and 10 coming up for Shelton at their 28-yard line. Field rolling out to the right side, on the run, throwing. That's Blanchett on the receiving end, and a first down as he crosses the 40-yard line before he's taken down by Szynski.
Excellent bootleg pattern by the Gales as they get Blanchett out into the middle area of the field, about 10 yards down, and they hit him on that throw for the first down. Field delivering the ball, Blanchett catching it. He outruns the coverage there. Primavera unable to get his hands on it, and stopped by Szynski from turning the corner and making it a long gainer.
Blanchett, buddy, used as the quarterback for the first half of last year's season, and switched to tight end, and rather successfully by the Shelton coaching staff. Rondini on the handoff for a pair.
Pick up a 2, 2nd and 8.
And the time becomes a factor. 28 for Seymour, 13 for Shelton.
It's much more of a factor if the Gales cannot convert on this drive. Right now, there's still plenty of time for them to score and still get the football back, but this drive has got to get in the end zone.
Blanchett sets up tight end to the left side.
They got a shot with this one.
Field on the home run toss downfield. Throwing for Aldo. Aldo looking for a call. Goulet along with Mark Primavera on the double coverage for Seymour.
Good job by both Primavera and Goulet on the outside coverage. Matter of fact, Primavera had a better shot at making the reception than the Shelton Gale receiver, Aldo, as he went down the sidelines.
Third down for the Shelton Gales, 3rd and 8. And the football marked at the 43-yard line of Shelton. Junior quarterback Dan Field, he has gone all the way here this afternoon for Shelton. There's Stramello from the weak side, pressuring, and Field throwing on the run. Far sidelines, incomplete. I believe it was intended for Alan Keklik. Double coverage for the Gales, rather for Seymour. Mark Primavera, one of the defenders, incompleted pass, bringing up a 3rd and 8.
We're going to see Kevin Woods here. There's a flag on the field. We'll see what it is. An eligible receiver downfield, and that's a big one. Stramello comes after Field. Field is able to get the ball off. Dropped by the intended receiver, and the penalty flag comes downfield.
And we get a look at one of our cameramen here at Valley Cablevision, Tim Rafferty, as we kick off our Cable Tents high school football game of the week. And we've had a good one for you, the viewers. Next weekend, a pair of games. Ansonia at Shelton, and Derby comes right up here to the Barber Field to face the Cats. 4th down. On the loss of down also for the Gales. And back deep, that's Szynski. to the 30-yard line, and a host of Gales around the football, led by Kroc, Steve Kroc, number 19. And with the timeout in the action, let's take our own timeout. Welcome back, everyone. Well, let's see if the Seymour Wildcats put the football away and just run some clock here. They're up by 15. A flag is dropped as Dewey gets the straight handoff from Del Toro. Panagiotis on the tackle for Shelton, along with Netavaska. And a flag was dropped in the Seymour backfield. 6:10 remaining and showing on the scoreboard clock here at the Barber Field. That will go against the Wildcats. So a 1st and 15 coming up for Seymour. The football at their 25-yard line. Del Toro on a quick hitter to the fullback, Bill Brooks. And Brooks cracks across the 30-yard line. Getting up off the pile, Brian Fetty. Played a good game defensively, a linebacker for the Gales.
There's a guy we'll see later in the year also, Jack Hunt, whose team opened with a victory last night against Holy Cross.
Second down, second and a long 9 for the Wildcats, just outside their 30. Goulet goes in motion. And the give inside, that's Brooks for about 4 yards before he's taken down by Mark Subkaski, tri-captain for the Shelton Gales. Should mention at this time the tri-captains for the Seymour Wildcats, if you didn't see our kickoff show: Rich Connors, Pete Del Toro, and who am I forgetting? Oh yeah, how could I forget? Sonny Szynski. Third down and 3. Football is at the 38-yard line of Seymour. Seymour apparently taking a little bit of clock off now. Del Toro now motions that he wants Primavera to move over to another position in the backfield. And Mark gets the football. And it's going to be close to that first down. It's going to depend on the mark as Primavera crosses the 40-yard line.
Panagiotis on the stop. D'Agostine and Weemo all there.
Very close as they bring the marker out to the first down. It'll be interesting if Seymour doesn't make it, whether they'll decide to go for it or punt the football, take the safe option to punt, or try and convert that big 4th down. No decision, though, as they have gotten the first down on the run by Primavera, as he dragged enough bodies for that first down yardage. With 4:27 left to go, the Wildcats can pretty much put it away with another 1 or 2 more first downs, as they have been able to really run the football all day today against the Gales. They have not thrown the ball with the consistency that we thought they would, but it's early in the year and that passing game takes a while, but that running game certainly is ready to go. And it'll be interesting to see the Red Raiders, how they attempt to defense that next week.
Brian Fetty on the tackle of David Dewey, along with Alan Keklik also in on the tackle. David Dewey's done an outstanding job at tailback, as has Brooks at fullback.
Here he comes. Again, there's 48 making the block to turn out the end, and they've turned the ends out all day, allowing Dewey to get inside the tackles. Once Dewey gets into that secondary, though, that natural ability really takes hold, and he's done a great job running the ball. Again, the obvious, and we've overstated it, but here he comes again.
David Dewey picking his way on the second down.
Dewey carries.
And on the bottom of that pile, Jason Netavaska.
Jason Netavaska on the stop.
Bringing up a 3rd and 2, and 3 minutes and change left here in the 4th quarter at the Barber Field. And the Wildcats seemingly on their way to an opening game victory. And also, Buddy Chernovitz may be serving notice to the Housatonic League.
They've certainly got to be a top pick for the early running of a title if you talk about title in the first week, but the first 2 games that they play are going to go a long way in determining who's going to be at the top of the list.
Brooks for the first down as he hammers across midfield and close to the Shelton 45. Again, Fetty on the tackle for the Gales.
Billy Brooks just straight ahead, bangs up for that big first down, and he's been getting that 5 and 7 yards all afternoon here. With that blocking that he's been doing, he certainly has had a wonderful afternoon. He has been kicking the ends as the Wildcats and their mascot have a lot to cheer about here in this first game of the season.
Brooks is the fullback. The tailback is David Dewey. David Dewey guarding that football and picking up 3 through the center of the line. Methodically, the Wildcats just running down the remaining time here at DeBarber Field in Seymour. Panagiotis, a standout defensively for Shelton on the tackle.
Tackle after a gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
Both schools, of course, are involved in Valley games next weekend. Seymour will entertain up here at DeBarber the Derby Red Raiders, who, as Buddy mentioned earlier in the telecast, victories over Brantford in their opening game. Mark Primavera from the tailback spot, dragged down by Steve Kroc, now in defensively at end for Shelton as the Gales call a timeout. 1 minute and 48 seconds remaining.
Shelton had to use one early in the half, so they're one more timeout left for them, and they'll only be able to stop that clock one more time.
Next Saturday, the Wildcats will be home once again when they host the Derby Red Raiders.
Be interesting to see who you pick for the player of the game, Edward. Got a number of outstanding candidates for this one.
Make no mistake about it, it's a team effort.
Not only you and I, but a number of others up here in the press box. We sometimes kid about it, but we try to involve as many people as possible in the selection. We try to get a consensus. And get a consensus, and today's going to be a tough one because there are a couple of young men who have had an outstanding game. As you see Coach Branca there, his football team is going to have to regroup because they're coming back next week against the Ansonia Chargers. Coach Paul Sponheimer couldn't ask for more from his young men today, as they've certainly played a great game. Along the line of scrimmage, they've dominated on offense, and on defense, they've done what they've had to do in order to keep that 28-point or 28-13 lead, as Seymour is ready here to run the clock out in this last 1 minute and 48 seconds.
3rd and 7 from the Shelton 42. The pitch to Brooks. Brooks crosses the 40, rambles to the 35, and again, it's going to depend on the spot. He might have picked it up, the first down. Rob Darby in the secondary on the tackle. And if he's picked it up, that's just about it for this football game.
They're going to have to run another play to get it, and I'm pretty sure they're going to run the football. They won't punt it here. Got less than a couple inches here.
Chavs all over, you see on the replay, Buddy, all over Del Toro, but Peter Del Toro runs that option as well as anybody. Pete Del Toro, not only an outstanding football player, outstanding in the classroom, one of the top students at Seymour High School. And Del Toro sneaks it for the first down.
And I know it's a little point of trivia, but both Del Toro and the Shelton, who we thought was the starting quarterback, Rondini, played together at Shelton as freshmen. And here they are lining up on opposite sides of the football in this first game of the season.
Under a minute to go. And a first down by Pete Del Toro. The Cats will just run it out. And we'll go 1-0 on the young season. And the Gales will suffer this opening game defeat. Dewey again on the first down carry. Slides to the 25-yard line.
Also assisting.
As we run things out.
Seymour does not have to run another play if they choose to. They can stay in the huddle unless Shelton uses that last timeout, but it's been a great opening game victory for the Seymour Wildcats.
Buddy, let me, while we have the opportunity, thank the athletic directors from both schools. From up here, the host school, Seymour Wildcats, Mike Mudry, and for the Shelton Gales, the athletic director, Jim Bonanto. Our final score is the final seconds kickoff here at Seymour's DeVarva Field. The Seymour Wildcats 28 and the Shelton Gales 13 right after these messages. .13 on behalf of Buddy Chernovui, Ed Clemens saying goodbye, everyone. Congratulations,